Hey guys, Adam Savage here with my friend Stephen Lane. And we've done a lot of videos from Prop Store, but this is the first one we've done from the Prop Store mothership. We are outside of London in your warehouse.
Welcome, Adam. It's so lovely to have you here finally. It's about time, man.
It is about time. You guys have a huge fall auction coming up, and it's an astounding collection. And you asked me if I wanted to talk about some of the pieces. And I'm literally currently obsessed with this Book of the Living from the Mummy and the Key to Hamunaptra. And you have them for sale. Okay, I'm not even sure where to begin with this, but let me just state that I was here when your folks were loading this in, and it is completely rare that a prop feels like a real object. It is, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Normally they're dummied up, you know, they're lightweight, they're foam, they're rubber, but this thing here, I mean, this really looks and feels like the real thing, doesn't it?
It weighs on the order of probably like 10 kilos.
Yep.
And then as I got near it and I realized and I started to actually, this whole hinge thing is actually bronze.
Yeah.
And so are the closures
So the
here.
clasps here. Yeah, absolutely. And so is the rotating plate here, I believe, as well.
This is also?
Yeah, absolutely.
That, I don't even know where to begin with that they actually went and used a real material for the film.
Yeah, it's fascinating actually because we had the Hero Book of the Dead a number of years ago, and it was exactly the same. Obviously,
really?
they're going to do the both for the same for the two books, but we've also had the stunt versions as well. So we've had the lightweight versions and sort of handled those, and they look aesthetically brilliant. But it's when you handle this piece that it really comes to life.
Well, so I actually have some castings from probably third generation of these actual pieces. And now that I see that they're real ones bronze, I'm like, oh, my castings aren't good enough.
Back you go, bit more
this
buffing.
will never, my piece will never suffice. So this is actually a functioning, I mean, it's functioning in more ways than just being heavy and made of original materials. This actually spins and these open?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, go ahead. I mean, this is a mechanical device. I mean, it's all. Yeah, there we go. Just very carefully, just gonna feel it. There we go. Look at that. There's the release mech. How cool is that? You just gotta love that.
Oh my God! It's like a little plate of brass, and they've got a little. Okay, right. So it's a little slider that moves these.
Reasonably simple, but if you think about just trying to engineer that inside just this one leaf of the book there, as well as fitting the disc on there, that's a pretty tough proposition, isn't it?
Also, I've been on set having to rig these things, and it is a lot of pressure, right, to make a prop work on set. So they've gone with something incredibly simple, so it's easy to reset. Can we start to
peel it open? Yeah, absolutely.
This is really one of those things where there's no uncanny valley or suspension of disbelief. This feels like you're looking at a real thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what really sort of emphasizes that is the fact that this is all gold leaf. So this is gold leaf over these pages as well, which really makes it pop, doesn't it, when you open up the book like that?
There is no paint finish that comes close.
No. Yeah. I mean, just look at the way the shine comes off that as well.
It really has a veracity and an authenticity that is absolutely astounding. I still can't wrap my head around the fact of how much this weighs. This weighs more than a small child. This is really insane. Do you know how many of the Hero bronzes they made for the film?
That's a really good question, actually. I've got to say at least two. I mean, you've got to have a safety, haven't you?
I would imagine.
But whether or not they would have gone much further than that, I think would be questionable. I'm sure there's an example of these in the archives, and I've definitely seen another example of the Book of the Dead on display previously at prior exhibitions. So we know there was at least two of those as well. But I think after that, you're then moving into the lightweight version. So you've got the sort of foam, resin, fiberglass versions, and then probably stunt rubber as well. There's so many action sequences where the book gets
People just
thrown
running
or it gets tossed or something like that. So I think you'd have to mix all of those in together.
I really have never come across a prop that felt like such a genuine. If you pulled this out of a tomb, you'd be like, yeah, I've got the real thing. And I didn't even, until I was asked to move this, the Key to Hamunaptra is also, there's a lot of bronze going on here.
Yeah. Well, whether or not this is bronze or just maybe, would you say it's white metal there? Or I
guess it could be white metal.
Yeah,
it is very heavy. This one also does the actual...
Yeah, look at that.
It totally works. That is insane.
And that's, of course, where the map would have been concealed in the film there. And I mean, how wild to have this in at the same time as that. I mean, these have come from two completely separate consigners at completely different times.
I
You know.
didn't realize that.
Yeah, no, they haven't lived together since production. What are we talking? 99 for the
They're
Mummy,
like old
something like that?
friends. They
Yeah,
have,
that's
oh,
right.
how have you been? Oh, I've been pretty good. Where did you weather the COVID? We did we covered an exhibit at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York a few years ago of armor, and there were helmets and armor suits that hadn't seen each other for hundreds of years.
Wow.
Until they got back to
That's
this exhibit.
so cool. I love
and
that.
then that goes, I'm not going to do this because I don't want to scratch anything further. But again, this is another piece that feels like a completely authentic object.
Yeah, I love the detail that's gone into this. And look, at the end of the day, that's got to really help with the actors during those sequences where they feel like they're handling something that really has that weight to it and feels like a real thing. It's got to really help them with the process, hasn't it, of portraying that on screen, I should think. You've got to work out how it goes back together. Has he done it?
I did.
There we go. Look at that. You're a man who knows his stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we got to spend some time once with Ridley Scott on the set of Alien Covenant, and he talked about having everything feel immersive, that his actors gave better performances when that was the case. And
yeah, I mean, it was Kubrick, wasn't it, who went going right the way back, who always said that everything had to have a function and a reason, like on a board or on a console or whatever. You know, don't just put a button there. Tell me what that button does, and then what it leads to. So I think that, you know, that continuation of that, where it's you know, you've really got this sort of element to it. As I said, I think hugely beneficial for the performance.
I totally agree, and I've seen that in some costume pieces and set pieces, but almost never to this degree in a prop. These might be the most sort of well, as I replicate props, I'm always looking for a certain kind of experience. I want it to feel like something. And for instance, I love lifting Gandalf's sword, which we'll cover in another video, specifically because it's an aluminum ground blade. It makes you feel really strong when you wave it around. That's totally fine with me as an experience. But again, a prop that is this, two pieces that are this heavy, I imagine the actors get pissed off after a while.
That's why they have the lightweight versions, I'm sure of that. Yeah, one shot, two shots close up for this, and then away, you know, off onto the lightweight versions. But things are beauty, aren't they, really? I mean, these are treasures in their own right, aren't they, outside of the film prop? Just from an aesthetic perspective, if you had them on display at home, you know, they really look like something special as well, don't they?
Completely. And this is one of the very few pieces, I think, if I did have this at home, or let's say when I build my own, one of the most fun parts is going to be letting people flip through all the pages, right? Like having it set up so that they can do that.
We need to get it translated, don't we?
Yeah. You know, a very good friend of mine is a world-renowned Egyptologist. I'll send her some of these, and she can decipher them for us.
Very cool.
This is an absolutely unparalleled pair of pieces, and it is amazing that they've come from two disparate places to come back together.
Yeah, I mean, this one's been with a private collector now for at least 20 years, I would say. So he got it soon after the production, and then this one has come from somebody who worked on the film, so he's had it for that period of time as well. So yeah, here we are bringing them back together at Prop Store.
Well, and having gone through hundreds of pictures of these in the very recent past, they work better than I could have possibly surmised that they would. For the benefit of our viewers, give us some details of the auction.
Sure. Well, the auction is live and online right now, so you can register at propstore.com. You can check out all the auction lots. There's 1,500 items which you can bid on. We're introducing music this year as well, so we've got a new category. The auction culminates in a live event that takes place in central London at BAFTA 195 Piccadilly, and that runs on the 3rd to the 6th of November. So you can online bid all the way up to the 3rd, then come and join us at BAFTA in London and bid live on the day if you'd like to.
Amazing. I love the music stuff. I noticed you had a Nirvana set list.
Yeah.
Handwritten
by Dave Grohl.
Sharpie.
Yeah, I know. Isn't it brilliant? And if you flip that over, it's the Student Union headed paper from the event at that time. How cool is that, man?
Of course, he just grabbed it and wrote
it out.
That is amazing. Ah, dude, incredible.